It's always a little bit shaky trying to plug my microphone in without knocking the tripod over. Hello, happy Monday. I hope you all had a lovely weekend. And we are back for the first Facebook Live yoga class of the week. And we have got a cracker of a yoga class for you today. So we are going to be working our way up to Bird of Paradise, which I posted a picture on my Facebook page. It's a complicated looking posture, and it is a complicated posture, but it's more accessible than you think with a proper warm-up. And that's what we're going to be doing today. The whole class is going to be focused around this one posture, and we're going to spend a lot of time body up. And there's a lot going on. So first and foremost, Bird of Paradise is a balance, and balances can be tricky. There's a lot going on in just a normal balance. So you need obviously the breath to be there, you need your core to be working, you need your standing leg to be super strong, and you also need to focus on your drishti, which is your point of concentration. So even just with the balance part of this posture, there's a lot going on. So we will be doing a few balances to prepare. We will definitely be getting our quads strong because we're going to need the legs to be really strong to hold the posture steady. And as well as this isn't just a normal balance, this is like a very complicated balance. So you need your hamstrings, hey, hi mum. So you need your hamstrings to be super warmed up to get into this. If you have tight hamstrings, it's gonna be a struggle. And you also need your hips to be really open, because to sort of like get the body down, to loop your arm underneath your leg, you have to really sink deep in the hips. And shoulders. So it's just everything. You just really need to get the whole body warmed up. So we're going to focus on hamstrings, shoulders, core, hips, what else? Breath, balance. We're going to do it all today, every single thing. But by the end of it, you're going to surprise yourself, and you're going to be in this posture or variation of this posture, I promise. So the only things you are going to need today, potentially a yoga strap, belt, other item like that, so a dressing gown cord, anything like that. If your hamstrings are tight, you might just want to have that handy, and that's it. If you have any injuries, just make sure you check with a doctor before doing this. And then I think we're going to begin, and we're going to start with a few postures on our backs, and then we're going to work our way up to standing, and we may even do some vinyasas today. Oh, we may even put a bit of a flow in today as well. We are definitely going to be putting just a little flow in. I'm not a flowy sort of person, but we're going to do one. So we're going to begin just on our backs. And it's going to be really helpful today if you bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees fall out sideways. But if this isn't comfortable, you can just bend the knees and have the feet flat on the floor, or you can just straighten the legs. But for the purpose of this class, for the trying to get into, feet together, knees out sideways is going to be the most helpful position, because we're passively opening up into the hips and the groin already. You can place the hands on the belly, inner thighs, or just rest the hands either side of the body, palms up. You put those hands wherever feels most comfortable for you. And then we're going to take a couple of deep breaths here, in through the nose and out through the nose, steadying the breath and slowing it down, but making it sustainable. So finding a rhythm that works for you and your body, and finding a rhythm that you can maintain hopefully throughout the whole class. We're going to be doing some challenging postures today, so the breath might get a little bit weird. So the more we can slow it down and really control it here, the easier it's going to be later on. So we're setting up the foundations here. Okay, then just take the attention around the body, check in, see how you feel. So any areas of tension, any injuries you need to be mindful of. Never want to hurt ourselves, always moving cautiously. And with a tricky posture like this, because there is so much going on, sometimes you forget about something. But we're going to see if we can keep really aware of the whole body. So today, very much about body awareness. Making sure everything's in the sort of like correct position from our feet all the way to our hands. And this posture is called reclined bowed angle. It's a really lovely posture So quite relaxing, I think. Very passive stretch into the hips and the groin. Gravity's doing all the work for you, and we're not forcing the knees down. The knees are just opening as far as they want to open. Lower back is flat on the floor, and the chin tucks in ever so slightly so the back of the neck is long. So we're not crunching into the neck. Keeping length in the spine, even in a lying position like this. And we'll just hold it here for a few more moments. Really great opportunity to try and tune out any distractions, get your head in the game. Okay, lovely. Then on your next inhale, we're just going to slowly bring the knees together. And then we're going to take a cat stretch, so point both legs down the mat, arms overhead, lengthen, make yourself as long as you can here. Full body stretch for a full body posture. So really lift those arms and feel the stretch come into the shoulders, stretch into the lower back, tops of the feet and tops of the legs, as well as the side body. You may even feel it in the lower belly if you've done any core work recently. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side and make circles. Back of the head on the floor and hands around the knees or the shins to make the rotation. Squeezing the thigh up towards the belly and feeling that release in the lower back. Alright, and then bring both feet to the floor. So we're going to start with a hamstring stretch. This posture is hamstring central. So we really do need to warm this area up. We're going to keep the left knee bent, left foot on the floor. We're going to take the back of the right thigh, and then as you inhale, we're just going to raise the right leg up towards the ceiling. Now, if you can't take the back of the right thigh with the hands, then you want to use a strap or something similar to help you out. We want the back of the head and the shoulders to be quite relaxed. Obviously, there's a bit of effort in the arms to ease the right leg back, but upper body is not tense. So if the hamstrings are tight, there's a bit of a tendency for the shoulders to roll forward. Everything's super uncomfortable. So use a prop. Props are your friend. And then once you have the back of the thigh, we're just going to work the right toes back towards the body. We're going to shoot up through that right heel, feeling that wonderful stretch, calf hamstring. Left foot just resting on the floor, and again, chin tucked in ever so slightly so the back of the neck is nice and long. So I actually done this class earlier myself. I just thought I'd run through it, and my leg was shaking a lot. So if your leg is shaking, that's fine, no problem. Just see if you can keep that leg as straight as possible. With every exhale, maybe easing the right toes a little bit higher above the face, if appropriate, but don't do that at the expense of the knee bending. Breath steady, we'll hold it for a couple more moments. And then on your next inhale, we are straightening the left leg down the mat. So we do this quite a lot, but I just think it's really good. Do you need anything fancy to get into the hamstrings when you have a posture like this? It works so well? I don't think so. So now we've got both legs straight, we've got both toes pulling back, and just see if you can ground down through the left calf. So I say it all the time, and that's the direction we're moving in. If the groin is tight, that left calf will want to lift up off the floor. It's not essential, but again, just to start building this body awareness, we're really trying to be aware of what every part of the body's doing. Even though the right hamstring is getting a bit of a kick in, we want to make sure that left leg is sorted as well. Okay, keeping the shoulders still rolling down, chest nice and broad, and maybe using the hands or strap to bring that foot a little bit higher. And then if it is appropriate for your body, if you want to give it a little bit something else, then you can move the hands up to the calf or the foot. But if you're doing this, just make sure the shoulders can stay down. So it really doesn't matter about moving the hands up higher, not at the expense of the upper body. So back of the head will stay on the floor. Hands are wherever they want to be. Breath steady and still using the hands to ease that leg back just a smidgen more. Don't forget about the left toes face ceiling, left toes gently pull back. Okay, then have a little look at your right foot. It's going to stay in the position it's in. The right foot is going to be pesky in a minute. It's going to want to drop down, but no. Look at it, talk to it. It's going to stay exactly where it is. I'm saying this, my leg is definitely going to drop. We're going to see if we can keep the right foot where it is. And then, here we go. Release the hands, keep the legs in the position they're in. Woo, there we go. And take the hands either side of the body. Yes. And now your right hip flexor should be working pretty hard. So the top of your right leg's working. And again, because Bird of Paradise is a balance, we really need these hip flexors and quads to be strong today. So instead of letting that right foot travel closer to the floor, let's just see if we can keep the height, maybe even move the leg back a bit. I know this is really tricky, but keep the breath steady. So again, that nice deep rhythm we're trying to create now. In the next step of this posture, raise left leg off the floor just a few inches. Remember, you can stop wherever you want on the journey. But if you are raising that left leg, get it as straight and as strong as you can, and you're going to be feeling a little bit of work come into your core now. And then see if you can still ease right toes higher above the face. Okay, a few more moments here. Staying here on next part, final part of the posture. Inhale, nose to knee, and your hands come parallel, your palms face each other, and we are having a great time. So holding it here, shaking's normal, feeling that work in the core. We're going to hold it for a count of 5, so 1, 2, every inhale, seeing if you can lift a little bit higher. 3, see if you can work right toes back a little bit more. 4 and 5. Slowly lower left leg, slowly lower right leg, and give your legs a shake. It's a bit of a core killer, that one. I kind of cheated by doing this class earlier. I was like, I need to warm up before this. Okay, let's change sides. So we're going to keep the right leg bent to begin with, right foot on the floor, and then we are going to take the back of the left thigh. Same thing, we inhale, left leg up. Again, using the strap if you need to. So my left hamstring is very different to my right hamstring, and you may be similar. You may have one side that's tighter or a bit more flexible. So keep that in mind. You may need to adjust this side. And then from here, really work those left toes back, shoot up through the left heel and keep the shoulders rolling down, right foot resting. And then take your attention to your breath and keep your attention there, away from the not so subtle stretch in your left leg. Every exhale, maybe easing left toes a little bit higher above the face, but remember, more important, that leg is straight than dead vertical. So in order to straighten the leg, you may actually need to lower the leg down a bit. That's okay. You do what you need to do. A few more moments here. See if you can work those left toes back just a smidgen more. Next step, inhale, right leg straightens down the mat, and then see if you can ground down through the right calf, right toes pull back, and now your groin is being brought to the party. Brought to the party. Right toes face the ceiling, breath is steady. God, this side for me is so different to my other side. And you can be my guest, you can take the hands up the leg. I'm going to stay here, but you can take the calf, you can take the foot, as long as the shoulders stay relaxed, back of the head stays down. I know this doesn't feel like a good thing now, but you'll thank me later when we get to the posture, I promise. Alright, then we're ready to bring a bit of strength into this. So we're going to have a little look at our left foot. Left foot's going to stay where it is at the very least, hopefully. And then we're going to release the hands, place the hands either side of the body, palms down. And your left hip flexor and quad needs to sort of step up to keep that leg there. Don't forget about the right foot, right toes face ceiling. Don't forget about the shoulders. Shoulders are still relaxed. And then really working on getting that left leg as straight as you possibly can. And then on your next inhale, right leg up, hovers off the floor. Woo. And then feeling that work come into the core. Still seeing if you can really pull those left toes back and really work the right leg straight and strong. And final step on your inhale, nose to knee, hands parallel. Ooh, we're doing a good job. So holding it here. Deep, slow breath, seeing if you can work left toes back a little bit more. 1, see if you can work right toes back a little bit more. 2, every inhale, seeing if you can lift the nose up a little bit more. 3, so always pushing it, always seeing if we can sort of meet our limit and maybe go a centimetre more. 4, and 5, all right, lower the legs very slowly down to the floor with control. And we're going to take a cat stretch, point both legs down the mat, arms overhead, make yourself as long as you can here. Should feel really nice for the tops of the legs that have just been working really hard. Okay, and then exhale, hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side and make circles. You may even want to work into the hips a little bit more by taking the knees and making separate opposite circles with the knees. So this gets into the hips a little bit more. Totally up to you, whatever feels good. Okay, and then just stop doing that and take the feet to the floor. So we're going to do one more lion posture designed to get the quads nice and strong. We're going to do some leg raises. We're only going to do, we're not going to do them both together. We're going to do one leg at a time. So there's a couple of variations of leg raises that I like to teach, and this one is specifically for quads. So we're going to have the legs down the mat, legs together. We're going to place the hands either side of the body. Now we're going to leave the left leg straight, left toes gently pull back, and if possible, left calf stays on the floor, and then point your right toes down the mat. So right toes are pointed, left toes pull back. Still seeing if we can keep relaxed in the upper body. See if you can keep the jaw relaxed. And then as you inhale, just raise that right leg up with control, so lifting, not kicking. Straight right leg, toes pointed, as high as you can get it. Okay? Then from here, work the right toes back, calf, hamstring stretch, and then exhale, lower that leg down slowly so it's hovering a few inches off the floor. So don't let the foot touch the floor. Point the right toes down the mat, inhale, lift, get that leg as strong as you can, move slowly. Then work the right toes back and exhale, hover. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift with control, high as you can get it. Then really work the toes back and exhale, hover. Okay, nice controlled movements. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift. So use your breath to help you. Then work the toes back and exhale, hover. So we really want to get that leg as straight and as strong as possible. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift. Work the toes back and exhale, hover. Squeeze in the quad as you go down. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift. Work the toes back, exhale, hover. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift. Hopefully feeling that work in the top. Pull the toes back, exhale, hover. Okay, this is our last one after this. So point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift, nice strong legs. Work the toes back and exhale, hover. Just hold that hover. Hold the strongest, straightest right leg you can off the floor for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, release. Okay, give your legs a shake. Really should hopefully feel that in your right quad. That's what we're going for. So let's change sides now. We'll have hands either side of the body, palms down. Right toes pull back this time, right calf grounds. Point the left toes down the mat. Remember sort of relaxingness hopefully in the upper body, so not clenching our jaws or tensing our shoulders. And then really just focus as we move through this left leg on getting that leg as strong and as straight as you possibly can. So left toes point to begin with. Inhale, lift that left leg up as high as you can get it with control. Then work the left toes back and lower the strongest leg you can so it's hovering a few inches off the floor. Point the toes down the mat. Inhale, lift, don't kick with control. And then work the toes back and exhale, hover. Doing really well. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift. Work the toes back and exhale, hover. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift. So really pointing those toes. Then work the toes back and exhale, hover, the strongest, straightest leg you can get. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift. Work the toes back, exhale, hover, nearly there. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift. So use your breath, then work the toes back and exhale, hover. Point the toes down the mat, inhale, lift. Work the toes back and exhale, hover. Okay, this is our last one, so point the toes down the mat. Inhale, lift that leg high as you can get it. Then work the toes back and exhale, hover, hold the hover. Now squeeze your quad, strong straight legs, foot's hovering a few inches off the floor for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, relax. Okay, definitely gonna have quads, oxen quads. Big strong quads after this. So point toes down, my arms overhead, we'll have a cat stretch. It should feel quite nice for the tops of the legs that have been working so hard so far. Okay, then exhale, hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side and make circles. Back of the head on the floor. Okay, very well done. So from here, I just want you to stop making circles and then use both hands to squeeze the thighs as close as you can in towards the tummy. The legs are together. So the base of the spine will lift here. Gently point your toes. And then from here as you inhale, we're going to see if we can just curl the nose up towards the knee. Just like we've done in those hamstring postures earlier. Still taking hold of the shins here. You can stay here. Or on your next inhale, release the hands and then place the hands sort of parallel to one another off the floor, palms facing each other. So very similar to that hamstring thing, but this time we're trying to keep the legs squeezing together, we're trying to keep the legs squeezing into the body, and we're going to hold it here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, relax, 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 relax. Okay, make whatever movements here feel good. You can take a cat stretch, you can hug your knees in, because that was the last of the lion postures. And then when you're ready, you can just pop yourself up to seated and make your way into all fours. Okay, so all fours, fingers underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We're going to come through cat cows. Cat cows, good in every single class, good for every single posture. Love a cat cow. There is a reason why we're putting them in. The reason is obviously we need to open the shoulders, and they're great to open the shoulders. They're also very good at stretching out the tops of the legs. And because we're going to be doing like some forward folds, we're going to have to really sort of like get down low. It's just good for that, releases the lower back. So there are reasons why I put cat cows in. So fingers underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Tops of the feet on the floor, then inhale, lift the hips, lift the chest, look forward. And then exhale, tuck the hips under, drop the head, push into the hands and arch the spine. So that stretch across the upper back and the shoulders is really what we're doing this for. So inhale, lifting the hips, lifting the chest, look forward. Gently squeezing the shoulders together, and then exhale, rounds. Tucking the chin in towards the chest. And then you're just going to keep doing this. You're going to take a couple more rounds of this. Lovely for our back, lovely for tight back muscles, great for the mobility of our spine as well, which doesn't usually get to move like this. And then really match the movements to your breath, so the whole of the inhale lifts and then the whole of the exhale rounds. No rush. At the end of your next exhale, just come to a flat back, and we're going to come into a wide leg child's pose. So feet together, knees as wide as your mat, and then sink your butt towards your heels. See if you can get your bum and your heels as close together as possible before you walk the fingertips forward. Maybe staying upright if that's where you're at. Maybe forehead to mat, or chin and chest as long as it's hitting the floor. So just coming into whichever version works for you, and getting the bum and the heels closer together is what creates the stretch in the lower back. So the spine is nice and long, the breath is steady, and this wide leg version is very good for our hips and groin. And we're just going to bring a little shoulder stretch into this now. So we're going to keep the bum drawing back towards the heels. We're going to keep the legs wide. The bum is not going to lift. And then we are going to thread the right arm underneath the left. Lay the right shoulder on the floor. Right cheek comes on the floor and you look left. So we've just changed the arm position. So the right arm is just threaded underneath the left. The left fingers are still crawling forward. Right cheek on the floor, look left. So we're bringing a shoulder stretch into this, and the shoulders are important for this posture because there is a bind involved. So just working into those areas now. It's quite an intense stretch actually. We're quite low down to the floor. So if this feels a bit too intense, you can just miss it out, no problem. If you want a little bit more stretch, draw the left armpit down towards the floor, maybe crawl the left fingertips forward a little bit more. Nice, slow, steady breaths through the nose. Okay, then unthread your arm and we'll just do the same thing the other side. So now threading the left arm underneath the right left cheek on the floor, looking right. Weight of the body comes down into that left shoulder. You may feel this across your upper back as well if that area is tight. And then really crawling those right fingertips forward, maybe drawing right armpit down if you want a deeper stretch. And still keeping the bum drawing back towards the heels. Okay, lovely. Then just unthread your arm, just come back to child's pose, have a couple of breaths here. Forehead towards mat, arms out in front of you. Really sort of letting gravity do most of the work here. And then as you're ready, you can just make your way back up into all fours. Whew, hair everywhere, hair in my mouth. And then we're going to come into downward dog. So fingers spread underneath the shoulders. Fingers really spread, not just a little bit spread as you can get them. Pressing down through the fingers and the palms, feet hip width apart and parallel. Tuck your toes, send your hips up and back, and we're coming into downward dog. Okay, so you can have the knees bent, you don't have to have the legs straight. Knees can be bent, heels can be off the floor. But your head is tilting back between the arms, so we're not tensing the neck. And then we're really trying to work the thighs to the back of the room. Now this downward dog, feel free to pedal. If you want to pedal one heel down towards the floor then the other, you can do that. It's quite a nice way to get into the calves, the hamstrings. And if you push your hip back as you draw your heel down, you feel a deeper stretch up towards the glute as well. And downward dog is a complicated posture. It's one we pretty much do in every yoga class, but it is difficult. There's a lot going on, strengthening into the shoulders, working into the backs of the legs, also stretching into the lower back. I put moisturiser on, so my hands are slipping. How many times have I come into a Facebook Live video and be like, oh, I should have moisturised before yoga. So don't mind me if I just fall over, just ignore me. So keep pedalling your heels down. A few more moments here, making the pedaling slow. So there's quite a couple of, like, sometimes I see frantic pedalers, but use your breath to guide the movement, just like cat-cow, slow it down. Okay, then stop pedaling, just see if you can maybe pull the thighs a little bit more towards the back of the room. Head is still relaxed, no effort in the neck. And then from here, come down onto your knees. This time, let's have feet and knees together if possible. Now, if this doesn't work, feel free to separate the knees a bit. Otherwise, feet and knees together. We're going to take the arms either side of the body, resting the forehead down on a block or off the floor, and let the shoulders just fall down towards the mat. Okay, and now we're going to do the exact opposite. So we're going to keep the bum low. So again, this is another posture where people's bums tend to lift up, but keep the bum pulling back towards the heels. And then see if you can squeeze your shoulder blades together, interlace your hands behind your back. Now really work those shoulder blades together as much as you can, and then inhale, lift your arms away from your back. See if you can lift them up towards the ceiling. Don't worry if they don't lift very far, but that's the direction we're moving in. And then opening up into the shoulders, very important for that bind later, and stretching across the chest. Okay, then exhale, just relax, let the hands flop either side of the body. And then when you're ready, you can make your way up to seated, just come into seated. So now we are going to do a little flow. Now, I'm not a massive flow person. I sometimes do them, and this is literally like the smallest flow ever. It's not very creative, but I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it each side, and we're not going to have a rest in between. So it's going to be like a full sort of movement. Because it's me, we will be holding each part of this a little bit longer. So I don't like one breath, one move. Like, I want to hold things a little bit longer. So I'm going to go through it a little bit quickly, just to let you know. And when we actually move through this, we're going to slow it down a bit. So watch me, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to come into downward dog. We're going to lift one leg off the floor. And then we're going to draw the knee up towards the ceiling, tuck the head under the armpit, and we're going to come into this little hip stretch here. Very, very nice stretch for the top of the right leg in this case. Then we're going to come back into our three-legged dog. Okay, then we're going to inhale here, then exhale nose to knee. So the weight comes into the hands. We come up onto the tiptoes of the back foot, really working that quad and hip flexor. Very strong in the shoulders. And then we are going to do that 3 times. Yes, we are. Okay, then we're going to come back, and then we're going to draw the knee up towards the nose, but then we are going to step the foot down and drop the back knee. Yes, we are. We're going to come up into a low lunge. Very creative, I know. And then, after that, we're going to take the hands to the floor, and we're going to come into a hamstring stretch. Then we're going to come forward, tuck the back toes, push into the hands, back to dog, and then we're going to do the same thing the other side. I know what you're thinking. Ashleigh, what is this? Are you a Vinyasa flow teacher now? Could be with that innovation. Let's have a go. Let's do it. So obviously if you need to have a rest between sides, absolutely go ahead and do. But if possible, let's try and do right and left side all in one go. So fingers spread, underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward dog. My moisturiser on my hands is so annoying. Okay, so just set your downward dogs up. Like I said, we will be holding it just a little bit longer. So holding the downward dog here, really drawing the thighs to the back of the room, maybe tilting hips up towards the ceiling. Okay, now as you inhale, raise your right leg off the foot, point the right toes, 3-leg dog. You can take that leg high if you want, I don't mind. But really work back into the left leg. You're going to feel that stretch in the hamstring deepen. Hold it here, few breaths. Head's relaxed. And now we're going to come into that hip opener. So open the right hip up, knee points up towards ceiling, then that right foot just hangs over the back and you're looking underneath your right armpit. Don't really know what this one's called, but what we're trying to get is a stretch right at the top of the right leg. Deep, slow breathing, deep breaths. Okay, then from here we're going to take that right leg back, 3-leg dog, inhale. And then as we exhale, weight into the hands, knee to nose. Woo! And then inhale, 3-leg dog, point the toes. And then exhale, weight forward, knee to nose. Squeeze that hip flexor. Then weight comes back, point the toes. Exhale, knee to nose, weight comes forward, squeeze that hip flexor. Weight comes back, point the toes. And then bring the foot forward between the hands, drop the left knee, and then come up into your low lunge. Arms up, look up. Okay, holding it here. Opening up into the hip stretch and into the top of that left leg. Few more moments, really see if you can sink those hips down. Trying to keep the right knee somewhere over that right ankle. It can come forward a little bit, as long as that knee doesn't hurt. Okay, then take the hands to the floor, take the hips back, walk the hands back if you need to as you straighten the right leg. Now peel the right toes back, coming into a hamstring stretch. So rather than thinking about taking the hips back to create the stretch, think about lowering the chest directly down if you want to deepen it. The hands really are just on the floor for a bit of balance, a bit of support. And don't worry if you need to bend that right knee. Just do what you can. Keeping the breath steady. Okay, then bring the weight forward. Hands forward, tuck the back toes, straighten the leg, and then see if you can pick the right foot back up into downward dog. Other side, let's do it. Inhale, raise the left leg, point the toes. So holding this 3-leg dog and really pushing the weight back into that right leg. So feeling that really deep hamstring stretch. Okay, then from here we're going to open up through the left hip, left knee comes up towards ceiling, left leg hangs over the body, and then look underneath your left armpit up towards the ceiling. Feeling that very wonderful stretch, top of the left leg, opening up into the left hip. I have to shout, it felt like I shouted that. A few more moments here, doing very, very well. Okay, then inhale, take the left leg back, point the toes. And then exhale, nose to knee. Okay, weight comes into the arms, really work that hip flexor. Then inhale, point the toes back. And then exhale, nose to knee. Okay, then inhale, leg back. Exhale, nose to knee. Inhale, leg back. Then exhale, foot between the hands and then drop the back knee. All right, up into our lunge. Arms up, look up. Okay, so have a little look. Make sure that knee's somewhere over that ankle, sinking the weight of the body down. Feeling that lovely stretch, top of the right leg. Okay, then hands to the floor. we'll come into a hamstring stretch, weight comes back as you straighten the left leg. Move those hands back if you want. And then really work the left toes back, maybe sink the chest down if you want to deepen the posture. Very steady. Don't worry about a little bend in that left knee, that's okay. And then from here, weight comes forward, hands come forward, tuck the back toes, straighten the leg, pick the left foot back up into downward dog. And from downward dog, we're coming up to standing. So as you inhale, step or jump or walk your feet between your hands, look forward. Exhale, drop the head. And then from here, inhale, swoop the arms up, look up. And then exhale, arms by your side. Give your shoulder shake. I'm basically a vinyasa teacher now. Hope you loved it. Okay, so I think that I like to hold postures a little bit longer. So I like to hold each element of it. So have a drink if you need a drink. And then we're going to just come to the shoulders a little bit. And then we're nearly ready. We've got a few more things to do. So with the shoulders, very simply, we're going to do some shoulder rolls. Not much technique in this, we're just going to roll the shoulders. Just make sure the body stays upright, that you're looking straight forward, and don't go weird and do all of that. We want to isolate the movement in the shoulder joint so everything else is pretty solid, pretty static. So feet hip width apart and parallel, hands by your sides. And then as you inhale, just lift your shoulders up into your highest shrug, roll them back and down. And then exhale, forward and up. Inhale, back and down, and exhale, forward and up. Just use your breath, just use it. So just breathe and do shoulder rolls basically. And we'll see if you can work around that whole like rotator cuff. And it's really exaggerating the movement as much as you can. Obviously if you feel pain, don't bother. But bringing those shoulders up into your highest shrug, really squeezing the shoulder blades together as they come down and then rolling them forward and feeling that stretch across the upper back. So these are a good thing to do in general, just in everyday life. Shoulders get tight. And then just make that rotation in the opposite direction. Still seeing if we can slow the movements down as much as possible, really using the breath to guide the movements. Okay, and then just shake it out, just shake it out. All right, okay, so last little thing we're going to do before doing something else, obviously, is a little arm across chest pose. So take your left arm out in front of you, plonk your right elbow on top of your left, turn your left forearms up towards the ceiling. Inhale here, then exhale, guide the right arm across the body. So don't let the body twist, because we really do want to isolate this stretch in that right shoulder, so keep the chest facing forward. It's quite a deep shoulder opener actually. I know it doesn't look like much, but it really is. And you may even feel this start to pull across your right upper back as well. So not a very glamorous looking posture, but the good ones never are. That's what I want you to remember. The best postures aren't the glamorous looking ones. Like handstands are fun, but what are they for, do you know? Do you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just salty because I can't do them. Right, and then bring the arms forward and then plonk your left elbow on top of your right, turn your right forearms up, inhale, then exhale. Guide the left arm across the body, making sure the chest is facing forward and that you haven't come into a twist. And feeling that really wonderful stretch in your left shoulder, left upper back. Okay, then release, and then give your arms a shake. Right, we're ready to move on to the big boy hip openers. So we're going to do a humble warrior. We're going to do it 3 times, we're going to do some stuff with it, and then we are ready to try bird of paradise. So we've worked the hamstrings, we've worked the shoulders, we've done some stuff with the lower back, we've really got into the quads. These next postures are all about the hips and shoulders really. So I would say the next posture, these postures we do are probably the best prep for bird of paradise, just in case you wanted to do them by yourself. So stand with your feet together at the front of your mat, and then as you inhale, take a big step out with your right foot. So we're coming into a wide legged position. Now turn your toes in ever so slightly if you feel like you're going to slip, but we are going to be moving the feet anyway. Take your hands to your hips, Inhale, lift the chest up, and then as you exhale, fold forward, take your hands straight underneath your shoulders. So hands are underneath the shoulders. And if you cannot get your hands to the floor, a few things you can do. You can bend the knees, you can make the knees a bit wider, as long as you're not coming into the splits, or you can place blocks or books underneath the hands. Now from here, inhale, look forward, and then exhale, bend the elbows backwards, lower the crown of the head towards the floor, does not have to come on the floor. If you're coming down low enough, you can drop down onto forearms, but again, not essential. Keep the weight coming forward so we're not sinking back too heavy in the heels. Feeling that release in the lower back, and then inhale, straighten the arms. Turn your right foot out 90 degrees. Turn your left foot in about 45. Bend the right knee so it's over the right ankle, and walk your hands round to the inside of the right foot. So the whole of the left foot is flat on the floor, left leg straight. Right knee's bent over the ankle, hands are on the inside of the right foot. Now inhale, look forward, lengthen, and then exhale, sink down. Bend the elbows backwards, crown of the head lowers. You may even come down onto forearms here. So this is a huge stretch into your right hip. Keeping the left leg strong, sinking down into that right hip and getting that right thigh as parallel as you possibly can. Nice, slow, steady breath. So this is a huge hip opener. Okay, so letting the neck relax once you're down as far as you're coming. Remember, you don't have to be down onto forearms. You can just bend the elbows. You can stay on straight arms if you want. Okay, then inhale, straighten the arms. Okay, we're going to square the feet up so both toes face forward, then walk the hands underneath the shoulders again. Inhale, look forward, and then exhale, fold. Elbows bend backwards, crown of the head lowers. Then inhale, look up, and we'll change sides. Right foot in about 45, left foot 90. Bend the left knee so it's over the ankle, walk the hands round to the inside of the left foot. Inhale, look forward, and exhale, sink down. So you don't have to come down onto forearms, but you can if you're there. You can stay upright if it's all getting a bit much. Or you can just bend the elbows. Keep the breath steady, sole of the right foot on the floor. Really working into that left hip now. Okay, then inhale, straighten the arms. And then walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, square the feet up, inhale, look forward, and then exhale, drop the head. Bending the elbows backwards, forward fold. Sink towards floor. Then inhale, look forward, and we'll do that again. So we're going to turn the right foot out 90 degrees, we're going to turn the left foot in about 45, walk the hands to the inside of the right foot. Now you can repeat the posture with the hands on the floor, but this time we're going to see, if possible, take the hands off the floor, interlace the hands behind the back, which means obviously the legs are working a bit harder. Inhale, look forward, exhale, lower the head towards the floor, and then lift the arms away from the back. So exactly the same posture, but this time the hands are interlaced behind the back and coming away from the lower back. If it all gets a bit too much, take your hands back to the floor. We're still sinking down into that right hip, still keeping the head relaxed. And the breath is steady as you can get it. Okay, and then take the hands back to the lower spine. Hands come back to the floor. Then walk your hands back round underneath your shoulders. Toes are square to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward, other side. We're going to turn the left foot out 90 degrees, right foot in. Bend the left knee so it's over the ankle. Walk the hands around to the inside of the left foot. Staying here or getting the legs strong and interlacing the hands behind the back. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, fold. Lift the arms away from the lower back, head relaxes. Huge stretch into shoulders, huge stretch into that left hip. Okay, and then take the hands back to your lower back. Take the hands to the inside of the foot And walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, look forward, and exhale, fold. Just hold it here for a few moments. Okay, and then inhale, look forward. We're going to come up to standing, take your hands to your hips, bend your knees, and then inhale very slowly, come up, and then step your foot to the front of your mat. Amazing. You have a drink. So, I think we're ready. We're ready to give this a go. But first I want to do a tree. I want to do one balance before we, that was kind of a balance. I just want to slow things down with a tree quickly. So we're going to stand on our left leg. So remember, and then we are actually going to give it a go. So remember that this is a balance. Bird of Paradise is a balance. So tree is a balance. Take the breath down. We're going to get the standing leg strong. We're going to remember our drishti, our point of concentration, something to stare at, to block everything else out. And the core is going to be working naturally. So don't worry about too much about it, it will turn on. So we're going to stand on the left leg. Get that left leg strong, draw energy up the leg. Take hold of your right foot. You can place it on your calf for like a mid-tree, or you can place that foot right up onto the inner left thigh. You can also come into a baby tree, which is like the right heel on the left ankle, but if we're going to give Bird of Paradise a go, we really do need to like probably come into like a more adult tree. So hands in prayer, have a little look at something, and slow it down, keep that breath steady. Okay, balances are all about being calm. So really finding that focus. I know tree is a really simple balance, but it's a great little hip opener as well. So we'll hold it here just for a few more. And then exhale, release, lovely. Change sides, standing on the right leg strong, energy up the right leg. Taking the left foot onto the inside of the right thigh, or anywhere up that leg. If you're putting it on the inside of the knee, just make sure you're not kicking your knee out. Then hands in prayer. Balance, breath, core, strong standing leg. And then release. Right, here we go. I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm going to show you first, so just watch me. Incredibly similar to the position we just done, those hip openers, that is going to be our starting position. Now, I don't know what I was going to say. That is our starting position, very similar. So I'll show you what we're going to do. Basically, we stand at the front of the mat, we come back wide again. We turn our right foot out 90, we turn our left foot in 45. We bend the right knee so it's over the ankle, exactly the same as what we were just doing. We're going to take the arms wide, and we're going to place the right hand to begin with on the inside of the right foot, and the left arm's going to come up towards the ceiling, you're going to look up. This is our starting position. Now, just legs are exactly the same as what we were just doing. You really need to sink down deep into that right foot. What we're going to do is you can stop anywhere on this journey, so you can stay here, or we take the hand off the floor, the right hand off the floor, you sink down, you see if you can wrap the arm underneath the right leg. From there, you see if you can take your left arm round to catch the bind. You use the bind to open up. Now you might stay in this bind, or you might stay there. Doesn't matter, you stay anywhere you want. But if you have the bind, to come into this posture, you look down. Very important step. Don't try and do this without looking down because you will fall over. You look down, and then here's the fun part. We need to step the left foot up to the right foot. Woo. Or somewhere thereabouts. The left foot comes up near the right foot. So now I'm still bound. This is where the balance comes in. The strength in the standing leg. You pick up. At the moment, I'm still finding my drishti. I'm still looking at something. This might be where you stay. This is a really good point to be in. Otherwise, this is where the hamstring work comes in. You straighten the right leg, okay? And then, if you have the balance, you turn and look over the opposite shoulder. This is Bird of Paradise. Are we ready to give it a go? Yes, we are. So, I'm knackered. So come to the front of your mat. Let's just take a couple of breaths together, shall we? I feel like we need to take it. I feel like I'm too excitable. So take a couple of breaths. With this, you want to move slowly. If you try and move quickly, it's not going to happen. So just make sure you are moving slow. Okay, and then take a big step out with your right foot. Okay, right foot turns out 90, left foot turns in about 45. Deep bend in the right knee, getting that thigh quite parallel to the floor, and then arms wide. Inhale here, then reach to the right on the exhale. Right hand to the inside of the right foot, left arm up towards the ceiling. Okay, so this is stage number 1. You are more than welcome to stay here. The next part of this posture is if you are sinking down deep enough, you can roll the right arm underneath the right leg. So the hand ends up near the butt. And then really reach that left hand up, wrap it round, see if you can find your hand, so you're binding. You might want to stay here. You might want to just work on rolling that left shoulder back. Otherwise, very important step, look down. Before you step the left foot forward, up towards the right. You're still bound. So, here we go. Concentrate, breathe, strong in the standing leg. Pop up. Remember your drishti. And then potentially you straighten the right leg. If you have the balance, only if you have the balance, turn and look over your left shoulder. We'll hold it here for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Release. Okay. Hopefully that went quite well. What I want you to understand is anywhere on that journey is perfect. This is an advanced balance. This isn't like something you pop up in. Anywhere on the journey is perfect, so no worries. Let's try the other side. So legs wide again. We'll turn the left foot out, 90. We'll turn the right foot in, about 45. We'll bend the left knee so it's somewhere over the ankle. Deep sink in the hips, and we'll take the arms wide. Inhale here, exhale, come down. Left hand to the inside of the left foot. Right arm up towards the ceiling. This is a fantastic place to stay. You're still getting that huge stretch in the left hip. Now, if you want to give this a go, you're going to have to get the leg strong as you wrap the left arm underneath the left leg. Reach the right arm up, wrap it round, see if you can take the bind. If you have the bind, we're working that right shoulder back. More than welcome to stay here, or you, before you step the right foot up towards the left. Okay, you're still bound, and then take it easy, take it slow. Maybe pop up into standing. So that's where the strength in the right leg comes in, all that quad work. Stay in here, or maybe, all the hamstring work, straighten that left leg. Remember your drishti. If you have the balance, turn and look over your right shoulder. We'll hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Release, relax. Oh, and then come down onto the floor. I don't even want to do a sun salutation down onto the floor. You can if you're feeling energetic, be my guest, otherwise down onto the floor. Hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side. Tricky balance. Okay. Hope no one fell over. If you fell over, it's part of the process. Okay, so just hugging your knees into your chest, side to side, making circles now. I personally find that posture gets me really jacked up. I don't know why. I think it's because there's a lot going on. It stresses me out. But we're just going to do a couple of twists. So feet and knees together, arms out wide, palms down, and we're going to lift the feet up off the floor. Okay, just a few inches. We're going to inhale here, then exhale, let the legs fall over towards the right. And then turn and look over the left shoulder. Okay, and then just really relaxing into this position. No effort to get the knees down, no effort to keep the knees together. And then feeling that stretch come lower back, top hip, groin. And after all the hard work we've done, it's just nice to just sort of like relax into something. Okay, and then inhale back to center, and then on the exhale, just let the legs fall over towards the left, and then you can turn and look over the right shoulder again. Just relax into this posture now, no effort, breath steady. Okay, and then inhale back to center. All right, and then we're just going to come down into Shavasana now. So if you want to do a few more twists, if you feel like that's going to be good for your back, you please go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just lie flat on the floor. You can bring the knees together, let the knees fall out sideways, and just have the hands a little way away from the body, and just have a little rest. So this class has been quite full throttle, so this is a good time to just let the breath come back to normal, let the heart rate come down, and it gives the body a chance to digest all the hard work it's done. Okay, and I really recommend, I don't really recommend, but if you want to stay into Shavasana for a couple more minutes, please go ahead and do that. But for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna move. So you either stay there, or when you're ready to come out of the posture, take a cat stretch, hug your knees into your chest. Feel like I ran over a few minutes there. And yeah, that's it. I'm so glad you liked the class, Suzanne, as well. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'll respond to the comments anyway, but thank you so much. It's lovely to have you. I'm glad you liked it. And also, just this is like a massive process. This is an advanced balance, so it can take a while for the hips more than anything to open up, and actually I feel the shoulders as well, shoulders and hips for this, but I'm sure you all done an amazing job. And these are exercises, postures we've done building up, great to keep coming back to, especially if you just want to nail this posture down. Otherwise, I'll see you hopefully in another class sometime this week, and have a lovely day. All right, I'll see you later.